Welcome to the Eline's Law Podcast, where we discuss the study of law with or without law school and using an evidence based approach to your life. Hello, my name is personal injury attorney Michael Eline. I am licensed to practice law in the states of Texas and California. I became a lawyer on the California State Bar Law Office Study Program. I am an expert in the art of becoming a lawyer without law school. I've also written several books. One of them is called Becoming a Lawyer Without Law School. I have taught students on the program, and I'm always interested in educating anyone who wants to find a way to become a lawyer without the government getting involved and away from the groupthink mentality so prevalent at academic institutions. Before I begin, I'd like to emphasize that this podcast is separate from my teaching and research at the Law Office Study Program or my job as a personal injury attorney at Eline Law Firm. It is, however, my desire to bring zero-cost consumer information about the law to the general public. In keeping with that theme, here is episode 2 of the 10-Minute Law School series. So what I'm going to cover is how to find a judge or lawyer to study under, the states that offer law study presently, and how to meet the basic educational requirements in California. So I'm having you follow along on my website over at Eline Law. You can follow along. You can type in my last name, Ehline, and then type in Law Office Study, and then a whole list of all the different articles will show up. This one is about becoming a lawyer without law school, states that offer the law study program. So I'm going to do it a little bit in reverse. Before I even get into the states that offer law study, I'm going to talk about how to find a judge or a lawyer to study under. There was no rule book or guide for me. I just went out and made it happen. I'm not expecting everyone to be as aggressive as me. I have tips that can help you. But it is the number one question that I get, and I get calls all the time, which drives me nuts. So please don't call the firm. This is a free thing that I do. If you want to reach out, put it in the comments, and we can talk about it that way. But please don't do that, because that makes it harder for me to help you, because now I'm paying my staff to field calls for something that I'm doing for a completely non-commercial purpose. So finding a sponsored attorney to help you is very time consuming. It's very distracting, but it's indispensable and you've got to do it. So you need to think of yourself as being someone at war, like a knight, and you've just got to go out and make it happen. I sent hundreds of faxes out to different lawyers and judges back in the day when fax machines were the way to go. And so that's what I did. Now, all I can tell you is you've just got to keep on hammering people. You can also come on the Law Office Study. We have a lawofficestudy.net website, as well as the YouTube channel that we have. And you can just start talking in the comments. I've got lawyers and judges asking me all the time, how do I administer the program? How do I help these people? So, who knows? They may have an angle for you too. There's all kinds of people out there. If you can sell yourself on hiring you or letting you work for them for free, basically. So what I wanted to get into with you now is basically the states requiring no undergrad or law school. So I created this really cool list, and the Knights Templar Cross at the very top, that's the one that says no undergrad, no law school. There's only one, California. The Yellow Cross means you have to have some kind of an undergrad, but you don't have to have any kind of law school. So you can see that that's Washington. You can see that Wyoming eliminated their program, so ChatGPT needs to get their act together. Vermont is another one that allows you to have an undergrad with no law school, as well as Virginia. Now, If you look further down, you'll see the hammer and sickle Soviet star. That's the one that requires an undergrad plus some law school. And you'll see that that would be Alaska, West Virginia, New York, and Maine. So those are the states that will allow you to become a lawyer without a law school degree. But my focus today is going to be on California. I don't have expertise as a student on these other programs, but I know more than most. So if you want to talk to me about the other states, put it in the comments. If you want me to make another video that addresses those, fine. But I'm going to focus on California because that is, my primo expertise. So in our first episode, we talked a little bit about the history of reading the law, and now we're going to go into what it's all about as far as California goes. A lot of people are really interested in this program because of Kim Kardashian. She is on the same program. I think she took the baby bar 2 or 3 times and finally passed. So that will be one of the requirements. But let's get into the requirements to just get on the program so a lawyer will even consider you. So if you have if you have an associate's degree, that should qualify you. But if not, you've got to look at other methods. I did not. I was a blue-collar guy who just spent a lot of time reading books and going to the library as well as the law library all the time because I had to know the law for all the small businesses that I ran, risk mitigation, things like that, which led me to become a paralegal and ultimately a lawyer. So what you need to understand is you're going to need to at least take the CLEP and pass it and pass the courses required. And that's the college level examination program, the CLEP. Very, very important. So you'll have to show that you have, I think, at least a GED, but for sure, high school or at least a GED to get to that level. And then you go ahead and you take the CLEP. And I think when I took it, I was taking English composition with essay, sociology, history, something else. There's a bunch of different courses that you can pick. I think if you're ESL, I think you can even choose Spanish, which is great because that's one that you'll be able to master. So don't look at ESL as being a bad thing. Some of the best lawyers I've ever met are bilingual because they're capable of thinking in the cultures that they're representing. So don't look at that as a drawback. Yeah, it's going to be a little harder to pass the bar, but that's just the way it goes. So the first thing you have to do once you take that college level examination program is find a lawyer or a judge to study under. So there are some requirements for those judges or lawyers. Last time I checked, they had to be in practice at least 5 years. I'm pretty sure that's still the rule. If you want to know for sure, put it in the comments and I'll add it in there later. I just don't have all that research right at my fingertips. And look, I'm trying to get through this material quickly because it's called 10-minute law school. I'm doing this because I know people get bored. So I'm doing my best to get this thing done quickly. All right. So the first year law students exam, or the baby bar, that's the tough one. All right. That is contracts, torts, and criminal law. So that's something that you're going to have to take. Now, that baby bar also has a little bit of criminal procedure and remedies. So it's not just 100% contracts, torts, and criminal law. So how do you pass it? Okay, well, I'm not going to read from my notes because let me just try to get you something cool on the screen to read while I'm talking. All right, so to pass the baby bar, what you've got to do is get yourself a great law tutor, a life coach. I only know of one. His name is Paul Fow, and I just want to remind everybody, look, I'm not making any money for this. I don't have sponsors. I'm doing all this stuff on my own time. So don't think I'm just trying to promote people because I'm getting something out of it. I just genuinely care about people, and I see how our educational system just gives out worthless degrees and just kind of stick you with loans that you'll never be able to pay back. because you can't get a job with that degree. So I'm trying to show you another way to do this, and I'm doing it on my dime. So look, the least you can do is like and make a comment, maybe subscribe to the channel. I'm still new to all this podcasting stuff, but I get so many phone calls and so many emails at work because people saw my blog post about this that I figured, you know what, I'm just going to put all this stuff out there so you guys will stop calling me all the time. Not that I don't want to talk to you, but I've got clients that I represent. So listen up. Studying for the baby bar is a Herculean task. So meeting the basic educational requirements to move forward is basically like this. You pass that baby bar, they give the exam twice a year, just like the regular bar. I think when I took it, there were like 2 other people in there with me. They don't even keep stats on it anymore because so few people take it. But it's historically known to have one of the lowest pass rates of all of them. So don't get discouraged. You can call me and I can try to coach you as best as I can as well. So just keep in mind that once you've demonstrated the equivalent intellectual achievement proof of an AA or college equivalency, then you move on to studying for that baby bar, and you have to find that lawyer or judge who's going to administer the program and teach you other things. But your job is going to be getting that coach. And somebody like Paul Pfau, his name is spelled P-F-A-U, I think he was one of the original creators of Barbary, but he broke off. I think he wanted more one-on-one. He wanted to give people one-on-one attention. And that's how he helped me. And he did it over, I think, Zoom, phone. He would call me, and he tailored a program specifically for me to help me study. And so that is, in a nutshell, how to meet the basic requirements, the states that offer law study, and how to find a lawyer to study or a judge to study under. I'm pretty sure I made it in under 10 minutes. I'm just going to look on here to see if there's any other things that are noteworthy. Well, there's no law student's aptitude test. No LSAT is required. The minimum age, maybe you can help me. I need somebody to help me find that. And, you know, your supervising attorney has to have been in practice for at least 5 years. You've got to pay a $158 registration fee. It's non-refundable. You've got to transmit everything as far as your proposed course of instruction. You've got to meet an 18-hour weekly minimum, 4-year study period, studying in a judge's chambers or a law office for at least 4 years. And everything's there in this article for you. You've got to submit biannual reports. You're responsible for all this stuff, so you need to send this stuff in. Don't count on your supervising attorney to do any of this. You've got to make this happen on your own. So that pretty much sums it up. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out through one of my podcasts or videos in the comments. Please don't call the law firm. We only do things like personal injury cases, motorcycle accidents, and stuff like that. I just don't have time to answer questions, and I'm hoping that you'll take this seriously. If you have comments, I will definitely respond. I'll even call you and try to motivate you, all right? So that was it. I hope you enjoyed it. We learned a lot today, and hopefully that was in under 10 minutes.